Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Yeah, just thought I'd get the camera rolling. I've just had a package through. Well, I actually had this a couple of days ago, but I've been too busy to set the camera up and start filming and everything. Just didn't have the time. So thought I'd do that now. Let's just check the... yeah, as we can see there, this big box. Pretty big box, very heavy parcel on it, fragile. So let's open this up and see what's inside. I should really get a knife or something instead of using opening up the scissors and using them, but there we go. So let's get this stuff out. Get one out. Another one out. Let's just put that back a bit. Okay guys, what we have here, if we can see, I think I'll just move the camera on the, it's on the tripod, but if I just hold this up, it's just easier to see. And here we have this board here. If you can see there, it says X-Men versus Street Fighter. And then over here, we have Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers. So, yeah, what these are, guys, as you can see, it says Capcom there. And if you're not already familiar with this, this is the CPS-2 boards. Or CPS-2 as I like to call it. And this was basically a series of arcade system boards that Capcom first introduced back in 1993. And incidentally, Super Street Fighter 2 was the first board that they released for the system. Prior to that, it was the CPS System 1 boards. They didn't come in this this nice case here. It was just more like a conventional arcade board. I don't actually own any of them, but games like Final Fight, Street Fighter 2, just the earlier revisions prior to Super Street Fighter, like Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Hyper Fighting, I think, were on the CPS-1 system. So they just came on just the normal arcade PCB boards. But the problem with it was they were pirated quite a lot, and there were bootleg copies of them. And Capcom sort of wised up to this, so they created these, changed the design of it, but also inside they've put actual encrypted ROMs inside the game. I don't know too much about it, but what I do know is that there's a battery on the actual motherboard inside of each of the games, and that battery is soldered to the motherboard, and it usually has a life expectancy of around 3 to 5 years, I think it is. And when that battery goes, it kills the board, it leaks on the board, and it destroys the if the battery isn't replaced within I think it's an hour, then the encrypted ROMs actually start basically turning into junk and no longer hold the relevant information, so therefore you just can't play the games. And Capcom introduced this so that people that dismantled these and tried to copy the encrypted ROMs and everything else, the board will effectively be destroyed, as far as I'm aware. What you had to do, these arcade operators that purchase and own these boards would either have to change the battery themselves within the 3 or 5 years before the original battery inside actually died. They could change it themselves or send it back to Capcom, who would actually do it for them and then send it back to them. So it's a big money-making scheme. It was to stop piracy and everything else. And for many years, it stopped these things being bootlegged. But as the years went on, developers or programmers or whatever you are, hackers, whatever you want to call them, actually discovered a way they were able to switch those out and put just new ROMs in. For collectors, they didn't really like this, and they thought that, it's no longer an original board because it's got this other ROM chip on it. But that was a way to bring a board back to life, and I think that was known as phoenixing, that procedure. As time went on, purists would rather just change the battery inside, which is just you desolder the old battery on the motherboard, it's just 2 solder points, and as long as you install the new one, again, just solder a new battery in within the hour. Usually you can get it done in a few minutes. Then the board would continue to work, and then it would be okay for another 3 to 5 years. And as long as you keep replacing the battery, then the boards are still sort of original. In more recent years, in the last few years, I think it is, there's been another method of preserving these boards, and you can remove the battery altogether. So you remove the battery, and then inside you install what's called InfiniKey. And what that is a little PCB circuit board that companies come out with, and it removes the need to have the battery installed. And so you can remove the battery, install this InfiniKey, and what it does is it keeps the codes, the encrypted codes, actually on the original ROM. So it kind of still keeps them original, to be honest with you, and that's the method that I'm actually going to do myself. I've ordered a couple, because these batteries have never been changed in these, and these boards are really old. So yeah, I'm a bit concerned there, and I don't actually have the InfiniKey boards. They haven't arrived yet, so I'm waiting for those to arrive. They were around 25 Australian dollars each, and I'm going to attempt to solder them on. It's just, I think, 6 solder points, depending on the revision of the board. If it's a certain revision, though, you have to then solder some, I think it's jumper wires, additional jumper wires on, so that's a couple of extra solder points to do. And that will get power to power the actual thing, depending on what revision of the board you've got. But anyway, I'm waffling on. So this was the first game in 1993. This was the second one in 1996, I believe. Sorry, not the second one, but it was released in 1996, X-Men vs Street Fighter. And apparently they released games for the system for 10 years. I think it was up to 10 years, last game being in 2003. And yeah, pretty successful. It's got some great games on it. These games can be pricey. I probably overpaid for these. These were up for a lot more, but I asked the seller what's the best price you would take. And for both of these, I think I paid 600 Australian dollars. So yeah, just over like 300 English pounds. So I probably overpaid, but it didn't just come with the game board. If you look on the top here, this is the game board. I believe that this is the B board, and the A board is sitting underneath. And what the A board is, this connects to your arcade machine. So says that part side, this jammer connector. So it's just jammer standard, and so my jammer harness from my arcade machine will connect to that. And then as long as the game board's inside, and really you only need one of these motherboards here, main A boards in your machine, and then effectively you can just buy these, because you often see the game cartridges on their own, and then just buy the game cartridges, which works out cheaper, and just slot that in the motherboard. But these, they both came with motherboards, so I've actually got two. Also, there are different revisions of these depending on what part of the world you live in. So it's similar to different regions on game consoles. So these blue ones, I believe, are the US cartridges. And for example, green is Japan, and there are lots of other regions like Brazil and other parts of the world as well, other parts of Europe and things like that, and they all come in different colours. So you need the matching motherboard, these aren't region free, to play the relevant cartridge. And as far as I'm aware, they're not interchangeable. However, this US version that I've got, the blue one, are interchangeable with the green cartridges. So I only found that out afterwards. So that's really good. It means that I can pick up the green Japanese game cartridges. But just think of this the same as a games console. Like you have a Super Nintendo, you have the console, which is this motherboard down here, and then you just have your game cartridges which slot in, and that's kind of how it is. It's like a cartridge-based system for your arcade machine. And the reason why I picked up these games, in particular Super Street Fighter 2, was I've always been a fan of Street Fighter games. I've played them for as long as I can remember, and I did own the Street Fighter games on the Super Nintendo back in the day. But as the years have gone on, got rid of games and everything, and as I've recently picked games up, I don't actually own the Street Fighter games. Okay, on the PlayStation 4, I probably own the collection. Well, I do. But I just wanted like the original games on the original systems. So I might pick up Super Street Fighter 2 on the Sega Genesis, because I'm starting to build a collection up for that. It is one of my favourite systems. I've just got Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition on the PC Engine. If you haven't watched my video, please check that out. To be honest with you, there's nothing better than owning the original arcade hardware. And if you've got an arcade machine, you've got to have a version of Street Fighter 2. So let's put that back down. I'll have a look on the back. I think this connector here is for the kick harness, so you can use the extra buttons if you have the relevant kick harness in your actual arcade machine. I have a CPS-2 kick harness, which I'll show you when I actually connect this. Sure if it's gonna. That says register there, and then communication out. So that's just the the audio connections basically, left and right. We have some clips on there holding the game cartridge in, and the same the other side. Then we have a fan. Now these, I've been told, are very, very noisy, so you can swap them out, which is something I might do at some point. The other board is exactly the same. It's all bolted up as well, so I'm going to need to get in there if I want to change this battery over at some point, which I am going to need to. Let's see, this has got black clips on this one. So how do we do this? Okay, you just pull the clips out and the board should... Okay, so there's the underneath of the board. So that's the game board. As we can see there, this is the motherboard. It just slotted in there, didn't it? And that's it, pretty much. Okay, so here are probably the points that I'm going to have to unscrew if I want to get inside this board. I'll do that at another time. So back down. Okay, it clips together a lot easier than it unclips, which is nice. Let's put these clips back on. Okay, they slot back in. Also guys, you've got some switches there. So that's volume down, volume up, and a test button there, probably to change options and things like that. So yeah, let's put these in the arcade machine and see if they actually work. Okay guys, so this is the Sega Astro City. So what I'm going to do is move that there. As you can see here, if you saw my previous video on this, where I featured the Sega Astro City arcade machine, this is the jammer harness. This is really, really old. I think it's probably still the original one. I've got it connected to a Jammer Nation X Atlas adapter, which enables me to plug in a CPS-2 kick harness, which gets wired straight through to the control panel to give me the extra kick buttons to be able to play the fighting games. So I bought this so that I could connect the Pandora's box, but I'm going to leave this connected, which I usually do for PCBs anyway. And what I'll do is just connect this up to the jammer edge on the CPS-2 board. Okay, that clipped in nicely. As you can see there, just click straight in. Make sure it's all connected. You can look in there, it's a bit of a mess, not sure if you can see that. But there, this board here, I might actually attach the A board of this CPS-2 or the CPS-2 motherboard A board onto here permanently, so then that gets that out of the way. But for the time being, I'll probably just rest it just in there. Still keep the Pandora's box in there because my kids like playing the great selection of games. But anyway, we've got this hooked up, so let's get it connected and hopefully it will work. Okay, straight away you can probably hear that the fan. It's down there. It's letting out quite a bit of air, to be honest with you, keeping me cool. Give it some volume. Okay, I've gone into the test menu. So that's all working. Coin. Free play, let's set it to free play. Okay, we've got some sound. Turn this volume up. I've got my buttons correct. Okay, so the kick buttons are not working. So that's got to be to do with the CPS-2 harness, so I need to try to sort that one out. Right guys, what I've done is I've moved the CPS-2 harness onto the actual CPS-2 motherboard from the JNX adapter, and I now have my kicks, which I shall show you. but light kit's not working, so I don't know whether it's a problem with the adapter. I need to check that, guys. Yeah, looks great, plays great. So let's check out the other board. Okay guys, I've connected the motherboard and game board, A and B boards of X-Men vs Street Fighter. Again, I've hooked up the CPS-2 kick harness. There we go. Fantastic, I love this game, to be honest with you. If you're wondering what those lines are, guys, if you're not already aware, that's just like the, I think it's the refresh rate and the scan lines and everything, so which you get off these old CRT screens and monitors. But I can assure you it's not on my screen like that. Right, let's see if it works. Test menu. Let's get the same game data. I'll put this on free play. Check. So this. Okay, I'm not sure how to turn this this one in free play, but the start button works anyway. Looks work. That light kick still isn't working, so I need to sort that out. But that's the beauty of these collecting for these arcade machines, is just trying to figure out. You know, you have problems. Doesn't always work. Oh, that was good. Doesn't always work out smoothly, but do love this game though. I think I always played this on the Sega Saturn back in the day. There we go, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was just a quick sort of unboxing and overview of the CPS-2 system. Really happy with it. Hope to have more videos on these boards in the future. Hope to pick some more boards up. They are quite pricey though, but I'm glad to have these two. I need to sort out the kick problem, and also I need to sort out this original battery problem in there, which I'm going to swap that over for the Infinities when I receive those. So I'm going to attempt that. I'll probably film that as well and do an update video. Okay guys, cheers for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. Cheers guys, bye.